welcome to Red and Black Sport, and a very happy Easter to you. I hope you had a nice family time and you've got out and about a bit and enjoyed the bit of a breather. And of course, next week we get to Anzac Day, don't we? So it's a bit of a disruptive sort of week, really. But never mind. I thought what we'd do tonight is we'd just have a couple of Easter bunnies in to have a chat. You know, a couple of bunnies anyway. I know that they're good mates of mine. I think everyone would agree that as we watch Super 15, the real scourge of the competition is the scrummaging, isn't it? Everybody's got an opinion. Everyone's growling about it. It wastes so much time in a game. It's just unbelievable. I must admit, I've been to a couple of club games and they seem to have got that pretty right. They seem, I didn't see many collapsed scrums, or if they were just an accident more than else. But boy, I think the further up the batting order you go, to the more sophisticated players, I suppose, the more tricks they learn and the more they try and defeat the principle of the thing. Why was it barred? Why was it cut out? What went wrong? Two guys that really came up through the hard knocks of forward play. No one would know it better. Former All Black and Captain Tane Norton and his great buddy Billy Bush are my guests. Boys, welcome. Happy Easter to you. But you guys came through a tough era, didn't you? I know it sounds crap to say men were men, and but there wasn't the television coverage for a start, so there was a fair bit of nonsense went on from time to time. But Billy, you sort of sorted it yourselves, didn't you?
Well, we didn't fall over. We didn't collapse or anything. We did come up and, you know, in fisticuffs those days, sorted it out, then we started playing. Yeah.
Tony, you were right in the pincer movement. You were in there at hooker. There were some big men there, weren't there? There was a lot of weight.
Yeah, it developed, it certainly was developing that when we started to play in South Africa. And often the scrums would go in as hard then as they do now. Though it's changed a bit with these new rule changes, but often a prop mightn't have it quite right. And when he went in, he could put his hand on the ground, set himself, then get a grab.
I'm going to make some notes about what you're saying. So hand on the ground,
steady himself, and then he could get a grip, and it was right. Today, if he does it, he could lose the test match for you.
Right. Then you're in the middle, you've got to hook the ball. You still had to hook the ball in your day, didn't you?
Well, it was a challenge. I mean, you could both have a fair old go at the ball. They've taken the hooker's job out. Instead of being a good hooker, you really have to be a big man that could throw the ball in. You know, and a good player, I don't do it. But it's changed, it's taken that guy...
Because it was quite an art form for you. You took years to learn it, didn't you?
Oh, that's where you started.
And how much did you work with the likes of Bill, you know, on the feed? Bill, you'd work, practice hard with Tan? You'd know what you expected to do?
We bind totally different to how they do today.
Right.
And I don't know why they don't.
Talk us through it.
Well, the difference was they bind with their shoulders out like this. We were buying right on the I was right on the Tane's
under his armpit,
and I was holding them up. But they changed the rules when professional rugby started, and it's been falling over ever since. They changed it because they thought that there was too many guys in our era that were injuring their necks badly.
Right.
But today, see, we didn't do weights like they do today. Right. Like, you never break the Franks boys' necks, that's for sure. They did all muscle. And we never did no weights. Were
you aware, though, that, you know, you were taking a risk in the front row in those conditions?
Oh, well, you know, you're hitting, the impact is about 2 tonne. That's the impact. That's how much you had on your shoulders.
Right. Yeah.
So you have to be pretty well straight. If you, what they do now, they dive in and they're all heading downwards, and you can't come back up. You can't come back up. And I've told Mike Ryan, I said the only way you're going to fix it is let the loose head prop put his hand on the deck, so to keep the game going, because everybody's getting bored with it.
Yeah, it's far too many stoppages, aren't there?
If not, let the 4 props put their hand on the ground.
Yeah. But so why did they outlaw that, do you reckon?
Well, he reckons there was you can get you can get an advantage by swiveling on your hand, but I can't see how you can do that, because he reckons that the South Africans disagreed with having the hand on the deck.
Right.
Because there's an advantage.
In the hooking role, you would have had an understanding with the halfback, surely, on the feed.
Oh, that was paramount, that you had that timing. And I was just going to say, when Bill was talking about the referees, now the referees have done so much good work in improving scrummaging. Now, that was when we were having trouble with broken necks and that.
You're on the spinal trust, aren't you? Yeah.
And I think the referees had a big part of fixing it. But now we've got the referees. I think the rules make them interfere with scrummaging. They're calling the ball in. I don't know how the hell that happens. And
Or why it happens.
Why it happens. And they're tapping the halfback that it's okay to put it in. Well, before they were tapping, penalising them for being, if they were too, slow at putting it in or whatever it was, and it was disappointing.
Yeah. They're demanding that it be straight as well, aren't they?
Well, it should be, but they can't have it straight because the hookers cannot lift their feet. We're seeing it time and time again with the height that Bill said they're in. They just can't lift their feet.
And they are different body shapes now, aren't they, from when you guys were playing? Billy, you went on about the gym work and the strengthening, the conditioning. They are a different shape, aren't they?
Well, they do a lot of weights. I mean, if you look at the Franks boys, they're no bigger than you, but they built themselves off with creatine and all that other stuff they use. We had just Tubby Funa for the Chiefs. He's a natural build and very good. He's got a wee bit of weight. They're doing a wee bit of weights, but you watch him. He's a natural build, but I don't know why they just go back because to the locks binding around the bum like they used to when we played.
Rather than through the league.
Right through the leagues, because that creates a lot of power. Through the leagues.
Well, let me tell you, I had Corey Flynn in here 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about the subject, and he said, well, he's now in his 30s, he's hooked all his life. He said, it's the first time in my career that I fear for my life when I go to the scrum.
Yes.
He said, I've got 2 locomotives, and I'm on 1 league.
That's right.
He said, it doesn't seem right to me. And for a guy like that,
that's right.
Have we gone too far, Tom?
I'm sure we have. We've made the game at that stage, we've made it boring.
Yes.
I've talked to so many people in the last month, said they're not going to go back and watch it if it's like that, and we have to do something about it. Whether New Zealand do it at a lower grade, at the senior grades, I don't know.
And yet, club rugby, it's been pretty good.
We can do that.
I think it goes pretty good. I haven't seen that many.
But you don't get the power.
No.
Like they do in a Super 14 or 15.
And let's face it, Billy, these guys we're talking about, that's all they do for a living now.
That's right. That's right.
They've got nothing else to do but think about how the hell can I be disruptive and how can I do this, that and the other thing.
Yeah, I really think they should go back binding around the bum. That'll depower the scrum. And if they can't bind how we used to, they're going to have to lift the props, put their hand on the ground.
Yeah.
That is not... one of the reasons why they disallowed the hand on the ground was a danger factor, they thought. But I couldn't see that.
It's more dangerous when they fall over.
I was going to say when they crash. When you hear Corey Flynn say that...
You have to realise how these jerseys the guys have got on, they're skin tight.
Yep.
Now, there's nothing to grab.
No.
And if you go in at the power that Bill's talking about, and they make a grab at something and miss it, hand has to go somewhere.
All right, a couple of wise old Easter bunnies here, I've got to tell you, as we talk about the problem, and it is a blight on our game now, and something's got to happen. We've got to get over it somehow. Back shortly, we talk to Billy Bush and Tony Norton. Welcome back. It's interesting, isn't it? You get a couple of old hard noses like these two in here, Billy Bush and Tony Norton. They've been there, they've done that. I certainly haven't. I just hang on every word they say because they remember what it was like then. Talk about Mike Cron, who is now the world guru on scrummaging. Don't think he quite played at the same level as these two guys. So you've spoken with Cronny, Bill. And a lovely guy, don't get me wrong. Lovely guy.
You're very good.
Does he listen?
Well, he obviously doesn't because he's still falling over. No, but, it's a position that if you haven't played there, you don't know what's actually happened to your body. And you don't have to bore in either. And I see a lot of guys getting penalised for boring in, and yet it's a guy that's coming on an angle and then gone right around.
So when you came up against a tough nut, say a Springbok prop, for argument's sake, what would he have over you?
Well, nothing really, because I'm tight-headed and I'm bringing them down.
Yes.
That's the difference. I'm leaning on him and he's going to try and hold me up.
Right.
So the loose head, it's a very, very difficult place to play if you've got a strong tight head.
Right.
And if you take him down, it's hard to come back up.
Correct. Yeah.
And even if you got the grip, you can't come back up.
Right.
If you just turn him down. So
but
I have the advantage.
Yeah, you have the advantage. I'll go along with that. But talking the bind, Tony just mentioned about the jersey. You would have had a fair old grip of your hooker and you gripped your opposing prop.
Oh yes.
The other be straight there, didn't it, in those days?
No, you see, I had my arms over the top of him, so over the top of his neck.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm all right.
Right.
He's got to go underneath me and grab me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, those days we
And then the head dipped, didn't it, in those days quite badly, and that's where a lot of the injuries came from, Tom, wasn't
no
it?
doubt.
Yeah.
Bill and myself, on Bill's side, tight head, as he's saying, I could let Bill go. He could half pie, let me go.
Right.
I didn't worry about Bill.
He was strong enough to hold you.
But he'd attack that guy.
No, I'd go out that way. Yeah. So when the weight hits me, if I went this way, I would squeeze Tony up.
Yes. So
when the weight hit me, I went that way.
Right.
Since the ball come in, I screw that way.
What's the loose head doing at this stage, Tone?
Well, he's got the job of
holding
it up.
Right.
Because they just keep pulling it down.
Yeah.
And now Kerry Tanner wasn't a big prop. He was a small prop, really. But his technique was the thing that saved him. He'd get his hand right up over the back.
Right.
And he could handle that.
So is the problem now with the bind? If we start with the bind, is that the problem?
I think it is.
How do you fix that, Bill?
Go back the old way.
Round?
Yep.
Okay.
Round the bum.
Yep.
With the power to scrum. It does, because when in 77 the Lions came in, Tony kept inside, they just pushed us off the thing.
Right.
So we said, how do you do it? And he said, through the crutch,
All right.
binding through the legs.
Yep.
And
so we'll all do that.
Cobner and Beaumont and all these guys, and they gave a lot of power, generated a lot of power.
Right. Okay.
Oh, yes.
So that's point one. Hand on the ground, Tone. You're a fan of that?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I just know it makes the hooker feel safer because he knows he's not going to dive on the ground with him.
Yeah, and that was what Corey Flynn was talking about. Yeah. Now to rake the ball as well is not as easy, is it?
Oh, very difficult.
Yeah. Because you could virtually swing, couldn't you, in your day?
Well, you didn't even have to get that high. As long as you could get off one foot and then hook the ball or have a go at a tight head.
Yeah.
But the scrums just goes on too long.
Yeah.
And
are we asking too much of the forwards to keep it up, to keep waiting?
Well, how long do they take to assemble? It's the biggest waste of time. If there's 5 minutes to go in the game, and they're on defence, and they can waste 3 or 4 minutes.
You lose a game, like we have with the Crusaders.
Well, I went to the opening game, the Chiefs game, and every time I looked at the scoreboard, it seemed to be 21 minutes to go. The game never seemed to move forward, you know. But tell me the other thing that really just interests me is you have, the whole front row have an understanding with the halfback. They must have.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, it's pretty crucial. Yeah. The same as the hooker throwing the ball into the line out. Yeah. He's got a conversation going with him. So why do you need the referee to do anything?
They don't.
No. Well, why would they do it?
It must be adding to the problem.
Yes.
Because they're waiting, and then you have to get that signal, and the length of time there. The best time.
And you see Andy Ellis so frustrated because he wants to let the thing go into the scrum.
Well, every hooker I think that's ever been in the game or front row would say the best time to hook the ball is on impact.
Yep.
Hit, bang, and it's all over. It's gone.
Yep.
The ball's gone.
You haven't got time for the arm wrestle.
Because it only takes about 3 or 4 seconds for that scrum down like that start to deteriorate. People falling over and all.
We don't appreciate the massive amount of weight, do we? That's actually
No, you don't know the impact that that
Correct.
Huge.
I think in the long run, the hierarchy have to realise that our game is entertainment, and the team has responsible to entertain.
We're killing
it.
Okay. When we come back, we'll find out where the likely lads got to over Easter and what they've been up to. We'll catch up with them, and then we'll come back and talk to Billy Bush and Tony Norton for the last time.
Thanks, Pete. Today, Patrick and I are down here at Cashmere Tennis Club. For this week's challenge, we'll be partaking in some tennis, although I'm not sure what you quite came dressed for, Patrick.
Well, I threw the stuff together and then got some of it out of the lost property bin.
Look at those shorts. It looks like you've been out painting in the sun all day. And where on earth is this top from?
This is from old boxing days. This singlet was used once. I got knocked out.
All right. Judging by that, Well, just by purely what you've dressed, I fancy my chances in today's challenge. But first of all, we'll go catch up with the #1 player down here at Cashmere Tennis Club, James Meredith.
Cashmere recently won the interclub competition in Christchurch, and as we found out, tennis is in the genes with James's family.
So we've got myself, I play #1 here, and then Matt and our other brother Tim, they play 2 and 3, and then we've got 2 other brothers, Johnny and Tim McCarg, and they play 4 and 5 for our team. So pretty much five brothers kind of make up our tennis team here at Cashmere.
And it's not just the brothers. Tell us about a certain title that your father won recently.
Yeah, so Dad went away to play in the New Zealand Vets competition. So Dad's 65, so up in Nelson, it was just after New Year's, I think, might have been sort of mid-January. Dad went up and played the sort of over 65s, so anyone in New Zealand can come and play it, and Dad actually went and won the title, but he won singles and doubles, so Dad's #1, I guess, in New Zealand for 65 and overs, which is an amazing accomplishment.
Tell us a bit about the tennis college scene over in the States.
Yep, sure. So I went and got recruited to go play Div 1 in NCAA college over in America. So I signed up with Boise State University. So what happens is it's purely amateur. You're a student athlete, so I go over and I was on a tennis scholarship, so I get my academic scholarship at the same time, my academic degree, and then I also play tennis for the school, and as long as I keep up my grades and also I accomplish in tennis, then I keep my scholarship, and yeah, so I did that for about 4.5 years.
All right, now Patrick and I, the main objective of coming out here today is to take on each other in a tennis challenge. I'm not sure where Patrick is. He's probably off somewhere absolutely failing at hitting balls. But what we'll do is we'll go have a wee practice, and you can give us some tips on what it is exactly that we're doing wrong. There's probably going to be a lot of wrong things.
Sounds good.
James dealt out instructions like a pack of cards, and we were good to go. Well, as good as we could be.
All right, so rule #1, don't drop those rackets because they're mine, they're actually quite valuable. 2, make sure your shoelaces are done up, okay? And 3, try not to embarrass yourselves, okay? People are going to be watching this.
So we were safe on the first 2.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yep.
Are you ready?
Oh, no.
Are you ready? Sweet apple pie.
James provided some comments on how he thought we were going.
All right, so we're being coached. We've taken some tips out there.
Yeah, practiced against each other a wee bit, I think.
Yeah, you've accomplished hitting the ball a couple of times.
A couple of times I did actually make contact with the racket and the ball. Yeah.
Yeah, and so for our challenge, what we're going to get James to do is he's going to fire us down some serves. Patrick and I will be standing on either side of the court, and basically whoever does the best job, James will decide the winner. Whoever does the best
We've got a
job.
wager going, don't we? Yeah.
Yeah, the wager going is that whoever loses this challenge,
Judged by James.
yep,
Yeah.
will wear my sweatband
Over their eyes.
Over their eyes.
Yeah, blindfolded.
Stand down the other end and have James fire the quickest serves he can down their way.
She recognizes everything she needs.
All right, we can't really decide, and James is a bit impartial as to who's getting to wear the sweatband, so we've decided we'll let our cameraman decide.
And he's going to decide which of us has to get pelted. Okay.
That's probably no surprise, to be honest, Patrick.
Right, okay.
So I'll grab you, because you're not going to need this.
Okay.
Let's face it.
What are we going to do? 3 balls? I mean,
Oh.
that's hit over that fence, so...
Well, not all of them are going to have a chance of hitting, so we'll put that over there. There we go. What side do you want them on, James? Which side are you fastest on? In the very middle. In the middle of the tee. So we'll stand you there. You're just going to point this way. Yeah. Probably, yep. Put your hands there.
No face shots.
No, that's it. James, feedback.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad actually. I feel bad kind of now having it, but at the same time it was quite funny at that moment. How was it, Gordy?
I'm glad that I didn't end up wearing the headband. And I'm glad that I got to discover, just for future challenge references, that Patrick's hand-to-eye coordination leaves somewhat to be desired.
Yeah. Pete says we have to find a sport we're good at soon, which it'll be a long road, so you'll get to see a lot of sports.
You're probably going to have to try and get me back and organise a boxing challenge or something.
But I think that's tennis done for now. I think we can take positivity away from that sport. Really good sport. Can see why you love it.
And we can see why Patrick doesn't play it.
Yeah.
And back to you, Pete.
Well, welcome back. Well, yeah, those boys have a bit of fun. Haven't got long to go. Very quickly, boys, referee, I think it was important in that item that we were talking about off air that it is not bagging rugby at all. All we're trying to do is get the product back to where it was an exciting product to go and watch. And, we're going to give some ground to some other sport if we don't get it right. That's fair enough, guys, isn't it? We're not bagging the game. It's been bloody good to every one of us. But, the referee, don't get involved in feeding the scrum.
Correct.
Don't want any calls to the forwards to sort themselves out?
No, they'll sort it out themselves.
Right. Hand on the ground?
Yes.
Yep.
Happy with that?
Yes.
Okay.
And stop the clock.
And stop the clock. Yeah, that's just quickly on that. What's stop the clock?
Well, if it carries on the way it is, it'll have to be stop the clock.
Right.
Because we lost the game.
Well, we don't want that.
No, because you're losing too much time, aren't you, really?
Well, you're paying a lot of money for a ticket too, and you're only watching.
Quite right, boys. You both look remarkably well, anyway, I've got to tell you. Under the old laws, these boys came through very well, didn't they? They're probably looking better than some of the modern players look now, actually, the rigours on their body. Hope you've enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of your Easter, although I think that's about shot, isn't it? But remember Anzac Day. It's a very, very important day, and that's Friday. Make sure you're there. And before we go, guys, club stuff, Tony, how's your club limit going?
Good, very well.
Good.
We've struggled along, but they've put a good little team together and good numbers in Div 2. And
good. Yeah. Billy, slightly different at Belfast, isn't it?
Yes.
You struggle with it, get a senior side.
Well, no, we have got a senior side. They struggle for experienced players.
Right.
We don't get them.
No Colts?
Well, I think there could be a Colt side, but they're still struggling to fill that up as well.
Can I ask you a question that came up on the sideline, which from a noted rugby person said to me, with these hundreds of construction people coming into the city, a lot of them are Irish, not one of them playing rugby, or doesn't appear to be playing rugby.
I work with a lot of them, and they're playing social rugby.
Yeah, see?
That's the problem.
They don't want to get hurt?
No.
Yeah.
A lot of them are also working on Saturdays.
Correct. I did say that to this guy. Hang on, they're probably working, but they wouldn't work Saturday afternoon, would they?
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do.
Yeah. I think it's a bit of a shame.
A lot of them are getting over Friday night.
At the Bog. Or at the Beeley. Tony's throws himself around.
Thanks,
that's
Pete.
for sure. Okay. So, what is it the area where you are, Bill, or what happens to attracting these players?
Oh, but we've always struggled. Belfast, I can remember when I went out there, they didn't want me to go there. I don't know what it is.
No. Wayne Smith wasn't meant to go there.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he came there because he had Kieran Kane and, I can't remember the other guy. First of all,
They loved it. Yeah. So we've got a development, of course, out now at Hallswell. Development of a new club out there, Hallswell, Prebbleton. Not Prebbleton, out that area anyway.
Needs something in that area.
It's exploded, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder if Pegasus will help country rugby.
Yeah, it will. It will. New school.
Well, they can't
new
travel
school
down the
going
motorway to come into town, can they? 'Cause they can't. So they might as well stay out there and play. All right. Well, we've enjoyed it anyway. I think that's our lot, guys. We've enjoyed it. We can't fix everything, but it's just a genuine concern. That's all. That if people will listen and make the game what it was. Back next week with another Red and Black Sport.